Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on, so also aka Rearview Mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka cool grandma, but not really.
Aka, can I get a cone with sprinkles? And mom, what you
Yeah,
want?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
All right.
yes, the ice cream truck is here.
Right in front of your house.
Clearly, like I thought it was just passing by, but it's been here for at least 5 minutes.
They chilling. And, maybe they'll hear it, so I figure I'll make a joke.
Yeah. As soon as we hit record, it was like,
It was
"Hey,
like, you,
you guys want
you
some
need, you need a,
cones?"
right, you need a cone for that pod? All right, so you probably heard by now, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Kimmel Live will return tonight on Tuesday to the air.
Yes.
But first, I like to go back in time. Because something that's not been highlighted enough is what Jimmy Kimmel actually said when the man passed away. Jimmy Kimmel said in a tweet on September 10th, instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence.
That is what he said.
Like to also remind people. Actually, we get to it later. All right, Disney put out a statement. What did Disney say? Statement on September 22nd. It says, statement on Jimmy Kimmel Live from the Walt Disney Company. The Walt Disney Company issued the following statement today regarding Jimmy Kimmel Live. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached a decision to return the show on Tuesday.
So tonight.
Tonight.
So after y'all watch this, you can head on over to Jimmy Kimmel's show if that's if that's your jam. But I also saw something. Did you see this too about Sinclair Media?
I got it.
Oh, okay.
Dog.
All right.
Dog.
Do your thing.
When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
You right. You right. Do your thing.
Now, since my co-host mentioned Sinclair, and that's where I was heading, let's go back for just a moment to when the FCC chairman said some things. And Sinclair responded on September 17th and said, "We appreciate FCC Chairman Carr's remarks today."
I bet they did.
And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, they have taken a stand.
Mm-hmm.
Sinclair Inc. said, beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return.
Right, because they didn't get what they asked for, which was an apology.
Right. They previously asked for, or demanded, not asked for, demanded an apology from Kimmel and a donation to Turning Point USA for them to broadcast the show.
Yep, they did. They didn't get it. Here's why I think they didn't get it. 2 reasons. I guess it's up to interpretation what really happened because, they're not going to tell us everything. But the 2 things I think happened were, 1, Brendan Carr, FCC chairman, walks back his statements.
He sure did.
or rather reframes them and then says that we were the ones who reframed it. No,
Tomato,
you
tomato.
said what you said, and then people were like, "Are you crazy? You're supposed to be bipartisan, and you're not
Yeah.
being that." And that's how that happened. So I think that was one thing, which is a strong argument, right? Like if something is supposed to be neutral, if there is supposed to be diplomacy in certain spaces, then it's really hard to justify decisions that are being made when someone like this comes out and makes statements that make it seem like there's an agenda.
Right.
So that happened. The other thing that happened was the outpouring of
Yep.
support that Jimmy Kimmel got from not just fans, but also
Celebs, government
celebrities.
officials, even right-wing podcasters.
There was a over 400 person petition that was signed, or letter.
That was just celebs.
That was just celebrities, just people that were like, what are y'all doing? And I support Jimmy Kimmel. I think I think you know Mickey Mickey doesn't want those types of problems. Over 400 celebrities, some of
Right.
which you've probably worked with in some way, shape, or form, because we know that Disney touches every form of media there is possible.
Right.
So I think that's what really happened. I feel like it was a combination of these things that it didn't really matter what Sinclair was asking for anymore. It became bigger
Right.
than them.
Sometimes things are bigger than we think.
And sometimes things get preempted off of local stations. I'm not saying there's no
Well,
loss there, but it happens. And I feel like all parties involved usually try to do everything they can without sacrificing the integrity of whatever the thing is they're trying to do. But sometimes they don't reach an agreement.
right.
And this happens. This
Yeah,
happens.
and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
And in the meantime, let me publicly say, fuck Sinclair.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
now we've got more updates for y'all.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I can't say that, but
Hey, don't worry. I'm here. I'm here.
I can't
I'm here.
actually.
Yeah,
Um,
don't
but,
worry.
mhm.
Next topic.
Yep,
We got another update from somebody totally different.
we got another one for real.
That's right. This one comes from Routers. It says Sean Diddy Combs has been punished enough. Should be freed
Oh.
soon, lawyers say.
Okay. Okay. If that's what lawyers say.
It says here, lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs urged a U.S. judge to sentence the hip-hop mogul to little more time behind bars after he was convicted of words I cannot say on this platform.
But y'all know what he was convicted of.
Right. But acquitted on more serious charges. I can't say those words either right now. In a court filing late on Monday night, Combs' lawyer said a sentence of no more than 14 months was sufficient, and there was no need to keep him incarcerated and away from his 7 children and 84-year-old mother. Combs, 55, has been jailed at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since his September 16, 2024 arrest and would be credited for that time. A 14-month sentence means he would be free before the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. Combs' lawyer said their client has been, quote, incident-free in jail and become sober for the first time in a quarter century.
That's a big accomplishment.
Quote, Mr. Combs is an extraordinary person who has made monumental professional and personal contributions throughout his 55 years, and recognizes the consequences his actions have had for himself and his family, the lawyer said. It is time for Mr. Combs to go home.
Yep, that's what they said.
The U.S.
I mean,
Attorney's Office in Manhattan did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Tuesday.
well, because the sentencing is coming, so I'm sure they're figuring out. Does it say what date it is? I didn't catch that. I don't remember.
Prosecutors are expected to recommend the sentence by September 29th and
Okay.
have said, quote, a substantial prison term is warranted.
Okay, so by the beginning of next week, they're going to recommend, and then the actual sentencing, I believe, is like in October.
I believe so.
Um, yeah, I mean, his lawyers are doing what? Oh, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Nah, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead, you first.
His lawyers are doing what lawyers do. They're doing their jobs. This is what they're supposed to do. As far as that goes, I see them getting their ducks in a row. I'm assuming you're going to mention the letter, the letter that was written, because I know apparently his mom also came out and publicly acknowledged his wrongdoings. So they're getting their ducks in a row. The camp is lining it all up so that it looks, it's presented in a good package for the sentencing, you know.
Right.
So, but please tell us.
Well, this comes from the Shade Room, believe it or not.
Not
It
believe it or
says,
not.
it says exclusive. The Shade
Exclusive.
Room has obtained a copy of the character statement
Mm-hmm.
Young Miami wrote in Diddy's favor to the judge ahead of sentencing. In the letter, she highlights moments she shared with Diddy, such as their Met Gala appearance and their feeding of the homeless on Thanksgiving. She mentions various ways Diddy helped her grow professionally and personally. I am not reading this letter.
No, it's too long.
Y'all can go find it if you want to read it.
Yeah, but you summed it, you gave the summary, which is fine. Um, I thought this was particularly interesting. Again, I just think this is them getting the ducks in a row. But I thought this was particularly interesting because I think for a while we weren't. Young Miami had gone quiet.
Yes.
She was very, in the beginning of all of the mess, she was very loud about, that was her guy, they had whatever they had, and then stuff got
Or as,
real.
or as, or as you would say, my man, my man, my man.
Sure. Um, but, but things got real at some point. And she started to, back it up a bit. She
Yes.
wasn't aligning herself with him anymore. But now we've seen since the verdict that a lot of people have changed their tune, whether it's showing their support that they weren't showing before, whether it's doubling down on whatever they already said. A lot of people came out of the woodwork. The people who were hiding and not saying anything, a lot of them came out of the woodwork to say, you see, he is a great man after the sentencing, after the
Why
verdict
did y'all
happened.
ever doubt him?
Right. So it's not surprising to me that people are going to be supportive to him in this way. I think we already started to see that, people are like, well, since it's not so bad, I'm okay with supporting him because it's only this, or, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. She's never said anything bad about him. She's never spoken about him in a bad light. She's always basically said she never had any
A
problems
bad
with him.
experience, yeah.
yeah, she didn't have a bad experience with him. So, you know.
She said that many moons ago now, she said that, they both benefited from their relationship. And maybe it's that time again.
Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe
And as
there's
far as the
genuine love
14
there.
months, I'm sorry, you first.
I was gonna say maybe there's genuine love there. I mean, when you spend a significant amount of time with someone, you maybe it's not always romantic love that builds, but you definitely grow an affinity for the person. So it could
Especially when you're still
also
paying all your bills.
right, but we don't think that he's paying her bills, do we?
Wasn't that one of the things that came out in court? That he's still paying for her rent or something like that?
Young Miami?
Okay, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but that's what I
I,
remember.
I thought that was one of the other women. I don't think I've ever heard that
It
he
was
was
it
he
was
was
multiple
paying.
people, if I remember correctly.
Right, but I didn't think that any of those witnesses was Young Miami that said he was paying their bills.
If I remember correctly, and maybe I don't, 50's baby mama was upset that he was paying Young Miami's rent or something like that.
Oh, I thought that it
Maybe
was.
it's been a while. Maybe
I,
I'm
I
remembering wrong.
I thought it was the gifts. I didn't think it was that he was paying Young Miami's rent. I could be wrong too, but I thought it was more like gifts, like handbags and stuff like that, not rent.
Okay. Maybe,
Maybe
listen,
I'm wrong.
I could be wrong. Listen. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Um,
But as
that,
far as the 14 months, uh, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't have a real thought
yeah,
here because at this point, it's around the corner from sentencing anyway. So we
yeah.
just gotta wait and see, like we've been doing.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see if we agree on this last one.
Okay.
This one gets a little wild. All right.
Tell me.
So this comes from Gina Views and DJ Head.
Okay.
I don't even know where to put my phone now that I'm on this other device. All right, let me know if you can hear it.
Tell me if this is off limits to you. This happened to me. This is a real life scenario. I'm dealing with a woman. She has an ex-boyfriend who they were really in love.
You can hear it good so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lived together, all that. He never took her off his point of contact for emergency. She get the call. She at my house.
Oh.
She get the call that he's been in a terrible, fatal accident.
Oh.
She tells me like I'm gonna go to the hospital and be with him because they telling her like
I just want to say Gina Views' reactions are priceless.
Oh.
Which, in fairness, is probably the appropriate response.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
he's pretty much not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But you're his only point of contact. So I'm like, okay, like go do your thing, whatever.
How did that make you feel?
But I wasn't tripping.
Question.
I want to know from your perspective if you'd be okay with going to the hospital to be with this girl who's fatally injured. She not gonna make it.
Yes, that is a program that is bigger than me.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Go be there. I'm actually looking at you weird if you don't.
If you don't go.
You need to go be there. You need to go. She needs somebody by her side. Yes, go for sure.
Okay. What if it was a person that he was cheating on you with?
And he's her point of contact. That's a situation that's bigger than me.
Okay.
Well, you have to talk about it later. I'm more understanding of somebody being in a very serious situation that you need somebody there.
Gotcha.
So I'm not the person that's you gonna go, no, go be there. You need to find a way to get in contact with her family, find her homegirls. I'll even help you. Send me the page so we can figure out who her friends is.
What if she's okay? So okay, that makes sense. I'm with you.
In a life or death situation, I'm never gonna do that, girl.
Okay.
With somebody. I'm not. I don't even. I don't play like that.
I feel you. Tell me.
All right. So now we got to find out
What would I do?
It's really two questions here.
Okay.
First, he asked, really three. First, he asked, "Do you think it's a red flag?" Then he asked, "What would you do if it was you?" And the third one was, "But what if it's somebody who was cheating, who they were cheating with?" Those were the three
Yeah.
questions.
So the first one, is it a red flag? She didn't really answer, but
She
she
said,
didn't.
no, she's with him.
Oh, she did. Oh, okay, maybe I
Well,
missed.
maybe I'm bugging. Hold on, let me rewind.
This is off limits to you. All that. He never took her off his point of contact for emergency. She get the call. She at my house.
Oh.
She get the call that he's been in a terrible, like fatal accident.
Oh.
She tells me like I'm gonna go to the hospital and be with him because they telling her like he's pretty much not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But you're his only point of contact. So I'm like, okay, like go do your thing or whatever.
How did that make you feel?
I wasn't tripping. I want to know from your perspective if you'd be okay with going to the hospital.
Okay, you're right. She did not answer, "Is it a red flag?"
She doesn't answer if it's a red flag.
Okay, you're right.
So here's the thing.
Oh, I like when you start like that.
As far as whether it's a red flag or not, that is on a case-by-case basis. There are people who genuinely forget to change their emergency contact. That does happen. In fact, there are, I know someone who works in HR, and I've been told stories before. There are people who actually forget to take, like, their ex-spouse off of their beneficiaries of their benefits, and then they get with a new spouse, and then they die,
Oh, that's not
and the
right.
new spouse don't get nothing. The old spouse gets everything when it comes to the benefits.
All right, that part's not
That happens. So I mean, that is extreme compared to what we're talking about here. But my point is, I think that people are very callous sometimes about these things. Some people are not very cautious or don't really like go out of their way to fix that. So whether it's a red flag or not, I think that's a case by case basis. Like it depends on the why. Is that person just your emergency contact because you like having them as your emergency contact? Did you forget that they were your emergency contact? Do you seriously have no one else in this world that can be your emergency contact? Because for some people that is their truth.
Yes.
So I don't know that I can decide just off of what was said whether this is that this was a red flag or not. But what I can say is the next question was, what would you do, correct?
All right, wait. Let's do answer for answer.
Okay, so what do you think is a red flag?
Initial gut feeling was yes.
It
Like
could
as soon
be
as I heard it, I was like, "Ooh, that's."
messy.
But as they kept talking, I'm like, okay, I could see a situation where that might be the only person you really could trust with these things.
Right.
Because you don't know the family dynamic,
Yeah.
what's going on with their friend group, as they say now. So it's like, maybe that is the only person you really feel like will respect your wishes and
Hmm.
get things done and really be there for you. So I guess context matters.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, I'm
And
with you.
and every relationship doesn't end because two people hate each other.
I totally agree. I say that all the time.
So I don't. It's hard to say not knowing backstory if it's a red flag or not, and it absolutely could be a red flag. Don't get
Oh
me
yeah,
wrong.
absolutely. Context matters. That's all we
But
saying.
right. So the second question is, what would you do? Um, what was her name again? Gina.
Gina, yeah. Gina
Gina.
views.
Gina views. So I'm in agreement with her that it's bigger than whatever we have going on in that moment. It may even be bigger than our relationship. That remains to be seen, I think, depending on how things go. But I don't see myself knowing that someone is in distress and needs someone to be there and be like, no, don't go see that bitch. Like, what is that? That's cruel. We could figure out the emergency contact stuff later.
Right.
Because maybe you do need to be removed from her emergency contact. But also, they're talking about a near fatal situation. This person,
Yes.
there's a
They
strong
said they don't
possibility.
know if they're gonna make it.
There's a strong possibility this person may not even make it. What is it to me to hold him back? First of all, I can't imagine not being resented for stopping someone from going to aid someone who's in need like that.
Right.
And I agree with her. I would look at him like, what do you mean you're not getting up to go to the hospital? And I would go a step further. She didn't say this, but I immediately thought to myself the first time I saw this, I thought, well, I would go to the hospital with him. I
I don't
don't
know if you could
really
though.
would go to the hospital.
Cause like this is like a super personal situation now. This person is dying. You don't know that person.
Okay, but I'm going to the hospital to be there for my person. Because now my person is in a situation where they're dealing with somebody who's about to die. So now they may not be the victim of whatever the accident was, but they are going to be in pain. They are going to need somebody to be there for them.
Okay, fair.
And I liked what she said. Like, that's the type of person I am. She's like, oh, I'm gonna start, we gathering phone numbers, we figuring out who we need to call, what we need to do. Like, that's totally my personality. Like, I would help first and then ask questions later. I'm not really the person who's gonna sit around and ponder. Like, when there's an emergency situation, I'm not gonna sit around and ponder whether this is right or wrong. I'm just gonna get into action and then we will deal with the fallout later. But at that point, what do you like? How can I be there for you as my partner? I don't. Now, if that person said to me, I don't feel comfortable with you coming, or I don't think that this is the right situation for you to come, but I'll keep you posted. That's fine too. I think that's okay. Um, unless they're hiding something. But assuming they're not hiding something, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that's just me. I'm not saying everybody would or should do that, but I think me, that would be, I would be like, do you need me to go with you? Like, what do you need me to do? So yeah, I'm not. I don't know. And yeah, maybe it is. But if the person is in a coma or whatever, they don't know. They don't even know that I'm there. It's
Right.
more it's more to lend support to the person who just got that crazy phone call, you know. So yeah, that's what I would do. I feel like the fallout of whatever that is would have to happen after the fact. It couldn't happen in the moment. Somebody's dying. There's nothing else to discuss when somebody's dying. I too take that very seriously, and honestly, this situation could be very revealing for the relationship you're in, because maybe you and that person aren't on the same page that you thought you were on.
Mm-hmm.
And this would absolutely show where you really stand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what about
that's
you?
true. My mind works a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when if and when my partner receives this call,
Mm-hmm.
before I just say okay, go ahead, or okay, let's go, I'm wondering, are you okay with all of the shit that's about to pop off? Because you about to be responsible for a lot of shit, possibly.
Yeah.
You could be making this person's final decisions. If you the emergency contact, if there's some kind of will or funeral arrangements, you might be the point person for that too. Are you ready for all of that? Because it's easy to get the call and be like, all right, we gotta go. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just take a second and really think, are you sure you ready for all of this shit that's about to possibly happen? Because, hey, you would hope it doesn't. But when the call says near death, fatal accident situation, now we got to start thinking, hey, a lot of stuff could happen right now. This is a snowball effect situation. So that's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a second. I ain't saying 45 minutes, but let's just take a second and think, are you cool with all the shit that's about to go on? Possibly or likely? And if your answer is yes, then okay, cool. Then yeah, how can I support? What you need me to do? You know, do you need me to go with you, or is it better if I stay back? Because you know the family, the friends, the people that's gonna eventually be there. I
Right.
probably don't. So maybe it's better for me to not be there. You got to let me know
Right.
how to, like you said, how to support you. So that's so similar, but I just take that moment of pause real quick because it's easy to react,
Yeah.
and then later on you'd be like, whoa, you know, now they're asking me about his final decisions, you know, do not resuscitate, or you know, funeral arrangements, and you know, all of these different things, or you know, a lawyer contacted me 2 weeks later, and now I gotta figure out these things in the will. You know, you don't know, and so my thing is like, just
Well,
let's just make sure we ready for all of that. Well, you, not really we, you know, the partner
right.
that got the phone
Right.
call.
Well, what I will say is that your emergency contact is not necessarily the person who's going to make all of those decisions. So there's
But it's
also
possible.
that. It's possible, but there are certain
Because remember, he said the
pro-
only person.
right, but it depends on how emergency contact is being defined, because your emergency contact is not necessarily going to make your funeral arrangements. They're not
I,
necessarily
yeah, I didn't say guaranteed. I said possible, likely.
yeah, no, I know, because I'm just saying that because I know there's a difference between, like, legally, there's a
Like a
difference
proxy, yeah.
between your healthcare
Hmm.
proxy, your power of
Yeah.
attorney, all of those things. Um, so however that's defined, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, "Listen, are you good? Like, is there someone we should call instead, or
Right.
along with?" Which I think is always going to be, like, no matter which way you do it, there's always going to be that question of, well, who else is there, because you and this person are not. And I'm assuming that like, I don't know, that's nuanced too. Are these two people actually close? Do they interact with each other on that
Well,
level,
they said in the
or
video they haven't spoke or something like that.
right? So that kind of changes things, right? I think there are people who used to be together that still very much have some sort of relationship with one another, some sort of friendship or whatnot. So it's kind of hard to say when you're not someone who's been, speaking to them. And I would also think, like, at that point, you'd probably want to hand off the responsibilities anyway. If you know that you haven't spoken to this person in however long, and then this tragic thing happens, if you're able to get in contact with people who are actually regularly speaking to this person, and know what's been going on in their life, I mean, I think most decent people would probably say, okay, let me the things I can hand off, right? Like, again, there are certain legal things that you can't just turn over to the next guy. But I think when it comes to stuff like that, I think there's a possibility that you can work with the family or the close friends or whoever it is for that. And then the third question you asked was,
Not me. The video.
well, but you said the third question was,
What if they cheated? What if the person who's having the near death experience is the person your significant other cheated with?
that to me is convoluted. It sounds like two different stories, but it can be
Maybe that's
one.
what he asked. I don't
That's
know.
what he asked, but for me, I'm like, is it that you were the only person who was their emergency contact, or this is the person you cheated with? Like, and those two things can be the same, but they could also not be the
But this
same.
situation is the same. So you gotta go by this situation.
I would still be okay with him helping her or him going to the hospital. Like I said, it's death, and I don't. What am I supposed to do with that? I wouldn't go at that point. I wouldn't offer to go. I would deal with that situation from a distance. Um, because my guess is if that wound is still there, then I'm human. I don't think that I'm not a saint by any means. And okay, you want to go be there for the person you cheated on me with, and I took you back. Okay, but I will not, I cannot lend a hand. But I do think that person deserves your grace, you know, I, or mine. I feel like that's me giving grace by saying, you know what, go deal with what you got to deal with, and we could deal with the trauma that it's causing to our relationship after you finish dealing with that. Because again, context matters. But if you cheated on me, I'm gonna assume that it's a sore spot in our relationship, and it's not gonna help the sore spot with this coming up, because things that are feel like they're okay and we've moved on from it, let something like this happen, it could stand to bring it all up again. So, and I don't know if I'm that noble at that point.
Pandora's box
to
is
say,
opened all over again.
right, and I don't think I'm that noble of a person to be like, oh yeah, well let me come and help you do this, and this. Nah, that's a wound that's like you scratching a wound or pouring salt on a wound. At that point, it's like you should have severed ties with this person if we were gonna move forward. So at this point, it's like, how is this even like this? You weren't even in a relationship with this person. You cheated with this person. How are you their emergency contact?
Yeah, sorry for that. I had some technical difficulties on my side. Yeah, I think you make some valid points about nuance and context. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Sorry. If that's the person that you betrayed my trust with, if that's a person that almost tore our relationship apart, which really is you, not them, right? It's you who did it, not you dashing D, but my significant other. If you violated this relationship with that person, if you betrayed my trust with that person, listen, if you get the phone call and you gotta go
There's the
be
door.
with that person, then listen, go be with that person. But when you come back,
You
this
not coming
person,
here.
this person
You're
will
not
not be
coming
around.
here. No, I respect that. I just feel like
Fuck
of all
that.
the inopportune things to happen, what? That is so crazy. That
Because
is
now,
nuts.
like you said, we opening Pandora's box all over again. We gonna go
Yeah.
through hurt and anguish and couples
Like,
therapy and all. Nah, listen, that nigga's your emergency
like
contact. Excuse me, you that nigga's emergency contact. It's an emergency. Go ahead, go. But there's an emergency here too. There's an emergency here too. So
but
you pick, boo boo. You pick which emergency you need to be at.
but that's what I'm
Because
saying.
that
I
one
don't
is fatal.
understand
That one is fatal, and so is this one. Because
that's
that
why
nigga might die. Maybe. But if you leave, this relationship will
is
die.
that.
Over.
But that's, I'm like, in what world would I could see an old relationship, whatever. The only way this makes sense is if it was an old relationship and then you cheated with the person you were in a relationship with. Because in what world is the person you cheated with How are you their emergency contact? What am I missing here? You cheated with them. It's not
Well, it's an ex. They said. Remember, it's an ex, and then this second version, it's an ex who they cheated on you with.
right. That's what I'm saying. If it was a rando who you cheated with, and then you're on their emergency contact, I'm like, but what happened here? If it's an ex, then
No, it's an ex.
right. I still don't like it. I'm still not. Mm-mm.
When you come back, I'll be doing all of this.
You wrapping it up. Because it's crazy. It's actually crazy. It's actually ridiculous. Like, what do you mean? How is this even happening? That's when you know you're living in bizarro world. What? Like,
Go ahead, go. Go ahead.
yeah, no, you're right.
Pick your emergency. That's all. It's 2 emergencies now. Pick one.
Because at that point, what you really need to be doing as the person who cheated, what you really need to be doing is saying, "Oh, I think that's incorrect. Let me call so and so or such's mama, or whoever, or her best friend, or whoever, and let them know so they could deal with that."
Cause even
Let
when
me.
you say that,
I was gonna ask you
why
something
you
else.
got his mom's number though?
Well, you said it was an ex who they cheated with after, so it
You
they were
supposed
in a
to delete
relationship.
all that shit when we got back together.
Nah, I agree, but here we are.
All right, you had a
Let me
question.
ask you a
Let's
question
make it
though.
quick because we
Yeah,
got to go.
because I feel
Yeah.
like this came up before. I feel like we talked about this before. Didn't we? Didn't we do an "Am I the asshole" that had the same question?
No.
Maybe we did.
In
No,
the
not
Am I
this
the
question. The question
asshole?
I'm
It
about to
was
ask. I didn't ask it yet. The question that I was gonna ask was, okay, let's change the scenario a little bit. If the person, no, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Shit.
the Am I the asshole was the person's partner wanted to go to the funeral of
Yes,
the
that's what I was
person
gonna
they
ask.
cheated
That's what I
with.
was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask.
That we covered.
That we covered already. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's different. It's
Y'all
just a
could go back and
funeral.
find it.
And I don't think you should attend it, but that's different than getting the phone call that you're the emergency contact and you got to come to the hospital right now. No. You're right. Go ahead. Go to the hospital. Go.
Go ahead.
Go. You go. You go.
Yeah. And as soon as you walk out, I start playing Beyonce. To the left, to the left. Mm.
Like, what's urgent? Why are you so concerned?
Pick your emergency.
What
There's
you
2
worried about?
emergencies.
What you worried about? Why
Right.
you shouldn't have even picked up the phone.
Nah,
You
you
don't
don't
know
know
who it
who's
was.
calling. It's like a random
You don't know
number.
who
It's
it
not
was.
even them calling.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but
Yeah, it was
I'm just
General
joking.
Hospital calling.
It was, yeah, General Hospital. Yep. Y'all gotta do better out here. Like, y'all, listen, you gotta make sure your stuff is above board. Like, don't have any skeletons. If you gonna stay connected to certain people, don't have skeletons with them. Because, exactly. Because your stuff is gonna be on the curb.
That's it.
But listen, somebody on their deathbed, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do at that point. Like, not the cheater. I'm just talking about in general. Person on their deathbed, like, what? That's such a big responsibility.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. We see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.